Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Clara Rose. I am your savvy entrepreneur and show host, Clara Rose. If you've never been with us before, let me be the first to say welcome. Welcome to the show. Every week I do one of two things. I either have a guest who is an entrepreneur, business owner, professional, and they're here to share something to help us learn to be a more savvy entrepreneur, or I do some sort of a training. We talk about all the things that you need to know to be a savvy entrepreneur. And you probably already figured it out, but today I have a guest for the show. So help me welcome Mr. Peter Crampton. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Clara.
So tell us what it is that you do.
So I do menus for local restaurants, and they're free to local restaurants because the way they're paid for is by putting local businesses on there to promote their business to that restaurant's clientele.
Free to the business owner, to the restaurant.
To the restaurant, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us about that menu, because when I first heard you say I do menus for restaurants, my head went to I'm sitting in a restaurant and I'm looking at a menu of all of their foods. I'm thinking, okay, I don't understand.
Right.
So that's not what you're talking about.
No. So most of the times you'll see dine-in menus that might have advertising on it. And so what I did, I created a menu for, and this is like for chicken wings. And of course, it looks like just any other regular menu until you open it up. And when you open it up, they've got their menu in the middle, but there's advertising on each side of it. So it's impossible not to see your ad. And
pick that back up for a second, because show us where all the places. So there's actually on either side of the menu inside,
right?
But then the flap that you just opened also has some advertising on it.
There's advertising there, and of course, always any publication, the back cover, and that's one of my biggest advertised May Solar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I used to own gyms in Davenport, Iowa. And I was spending a lot of money on advertising, direct mail pieces, and effective but costly. And I had a guy come from Harris Pizza that was selling advertising on Harris Pizza's menu and asked me if I wanted an ad on it. And I said, how much? And it was a couple $100. This was quite a few years ago. But I said, I'll give it a shot for $200. I had the best ROI on that than anything I did. And I just assumed because people saw it, but it worked good, and worked great. And when I moved down here, I went and I thought, what am I going to do now? I sold the gyms, and I got my insurance license, and I hated it.
Did you hate it?
I hated it. It's just, I'm creative, and insurance is not creative.
You're like, oh, this sucks.
Right. I was having my coffee one morning, and I just remembered that ad I did on Harris Pizza menu. In 2018, I started with Mamma Mia's on Ridge Road and approached them and asked them if they wanted free menus, and it just blew up from there.
It just went from there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That happens to entrepreneurs, right? So often where you'll start down a path and then you'll think, wait a minute, this sucks.
Right.
I don't love what I'm doing. I don't even like what I'm doing. Why am I doing this again? So I love that you realized that and then went, wait a minute, I don't have to do this, right? I did the same thing with real estate, right? I went to school and did the training and was going to go get my license. I'm like, everything about this sucks,
right?
I don't like any of it. I don't like the hours. I don't like any of it. So I'm like, I'm not doing this, right? And as an entrepreneur, that's awesome that you could say, I don't want to do this. I'm going to do something different.
I agree. And I think the biggest problem is, I always heard, find something you love to do, right, and it won't be a job. Well, a lot of times you got to go through a lot of things you don't like to do before you find out what really you love to do. And a lot of us are too afraid to make that move, I made a bad decision. Well, that's okay. It's better that than to stick in something all your life and
that
feel like you're trapped, So
you don't want to get up every morning and think, I don't want to do this, right? I don't want to go to work. Because then it is truly work. Even if you are an entrepreneur and you're punching your own time clock, then Who wants to live like that?
Well, and the thing is, I think a lot of people see somebody that's been successful in their business. And they think, oh, wow, I'm going to go do that. But they don't, they're seeing the end product of a lot of work. 2 or 3 times along this journey, I said, no, I'm done. I don't want to do this. This is, but it just little bit by little bit, it started happening. And we were talking about it before. It's 90% of it's suiting up and showing up, and just going forward, whether it's good or whether it's bad.
Yeah, so, show up.
Show up.
Whatever it is you do, show up.
Right, on time.
On time, yes. For the love, please show up on time. Right. Just showing up. It seems like when we moved to Florida, that was one of the things that really caught our attention, because we've been business owners forever, right? And when we moved to Florida and decided to open statewide blinds, which my husband has statewide blinds, we would show up at people's houses and they're like, "You came." We're like, "Well, we have an appointment with you, right?" Right. They're like, "Yeah, but you came, or you were on time." We're like, "Yeah." Yeah, because we're on a schedule here, right? And that was because Florida seems to be so kicked back, and so, and then we experienced it on the other side of it when we bought our first home down here. We're like trying to get someone to come out and remove some trees or do work, and people make appointments and never show up. Right. And you call them like, "Oh, well, blah, 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 blah. They went fishing today." I'm like, "But we had an appointment." How do people stay in business when, I don't know, so it's been an interesting Florida thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm from the Midwest. I don't know. We grew up on, one side of my family's farmers and the other side are Greek immigrants. And it was always instilled, work hard, show up, do the next right thing. And, and I found out in life that, you do enough right things in a row, good things are going to come out the other end. You do it halfway, you're going to get halfway results. Yeah. It's not rocket science, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh, come on. Don't sell yourself short there. So, menus, I know that's not all that you do, right? So before we get too lost in just yakking, let's talk about the other things that you do.
Okay. So when to go back, when I got my insurance license, realized I didn't like this. Before that, I even was filling in part of that insurance time. I took a job with a company called Wipe Gurus. Wipe Gurus, and they make wet wipes, real nice high-end wet wipes, and they hired me to call restaurants around the country to sell them nice wet wipes. And they weren't cheap, and it was a very hard grind, and I said, I've got another idea. How about if I sell advertising on the wipe and give it to the restaurant? And they said, well, you can't do that. And I said, well, let me try. And so I approached Anna Farrell with Rambeam and Farrell, and I said, hey, Anna, I'm going to make these wipes, and I want to put your advertising on it and give them to the restaurants. And she says, sure, I'll give it a try. And here, I think I even
Did you bring one?
I wasn't sure if we're going to talk about that. So just so you get a visual.
Why would we not?
So they're real nice. They're a high-end wipe. And so Anna said, let me try that. And she called me back a week and a half, 2 weeks later, says, I want to meet with you. And I said, well, what's going on? She says, I want more wipes and I want more restaurants. And so I thought, okay. So I went and met with her. I said, what's happening? She says, I got a client from the wipe, and he got rented on 19. What a shocker, huh?
Right, I'm shocked.
And he went to the hospital, called his wife up and says, I've been in an accident. Come up, and she came up, and he says, we got to get an attorney. Yeah. I got rented, and she was at Kickin' Wings, and she stole one of the wipes.
She stole the wipe.
Had it in her purse, and so, I couldn't have planned it any better.
Right.
But so I was doing that first, but it's a pretty niche market with these. And so I thought I need something that I could, and that's when that thought remembered me doing the ad on the menu, and that's what's taken off.
Went from there.
Yeah. But I was doing hand wipes and to-go menus when COVID hit. Oh. I couldn't have had two better things. I think it was like God said, you've done enough dumb things in your life.
just give you
here's
one.
two no-brainers, and
Can't mess this one up.
yeah,
friend.
right. And so it just, unfortunately, I mean, COVID was a bad thing for a lot of businesses, but for me, it worked out for me.
So because the restaurants then went to just delivery only,
Right.
So there you were still getting your stuff out there,
Right.
It's not like you were, dead in the water totally.
Right.
Once they opened back up to delivery.
Right, exactly.
Right. And then wipes, I mean, that's just going to go in the bag.
Right.
It's going to go in the bag with the food or whatever.
Exactly.
That's actually very clever. Now the wipes, that it makes sense for like the attorneys. What other kinds of people use the wipes?
I have some big air conditioning companies. Progressive Air has used them.
Okay.
With a wipe, I've had people come, I want to do a wipe, and I say, well, what do you sell? And their profit per sale doesn't justify a wipe.
Okay.
An attorney, if they get a case, it pays for a lot of wipes, a big air conditioning system. So it has to make sense, But that's why I kind of went to the menus, because I had a lot of people wanting to do wipes, but it didn't make sense for the cost. And so the menus, I mean, it's as little as $250 for an ad for 6 months of advertising.
Wow.
So
just the one-time expense?
Just a one
for
time.
6
No,
months?
that's just a flat rate. And
Wow.
And I do it like I used to hate it when I had the gyms and somebody come up talk to me about advertising. I go, well, how much is it? And they'd say, oh, it's $500. I said, okay, I'll try that. They'd write up, and it's $590. I go, I thought it was $500. Well, there's a design fee. There's
Sure.
fee, that fee. I said, I don't want to do it. So my ads are $250, and that includes your design. So
That's not a monthly fee. That's like a one-time fee.
one-time fee for
Gosh,
6
that's
months.
cheap.
So I've had ladies that do Avon advertise with me, and as you can see, I have May Solar who buys the full back panel now. That's more expensive ad.
Sure.
But I fit it to where the little solopreneur can get their
Nice.
name out, and the big businesses love it too. But it fits all types of business categories.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot for the smaller entrepreneur, right? The
Right.
solopreneur,
Right.
mompreneur, whatever
Right.
you got going on. Because advertising is expensive.
Right.
Right, we've done television commercials. Ouch, that was expensive.
Right.
Right, and we've done we're doing a billboard now, and everything is so expensive. And if we're a medium-sized company. I think we have 4 employees, so we're not
Right.
huge or anything. But if we were smaller, it was just my husband, if it's just Larry running statewide blinds. There's no way we could fork out those kinds of dollars
Exactly.
for advertising. So. That's
Well,
an awesome price.
And so many people have done, have done things, and it's just like they've got a beautiful ad and they've got a beautiful offer, but they're not putting it a place where somebody can see it. And the other thing is too, you got to realize if you're in business. One thing I learned when I had the gyms was I used to say, "How did you hear about us?" And people
Right.
people will remember the last thing they saw.
Right.
So, and I found out because everybody comes and says, "Oh, Diane referred me." One of my members. Well, I always refer a member, get a T-shirt, and I had to learn to ask this question. It's important if you do advertising. Have you ever seen my advertising? Because then they said, "Yeah, I saw you on a menu. I saw I saw you you had a flyer here," and then they told me about it. So, but even if it's not that, it's the last thing they remember. Oh, they saw me on a Facebook, but that name had been programmed in. They say you're supposed to see an ad. I've heard 5 times, 12
7
times.
is what I heard. But yeah.
So with a menu, if Kickin' Wings is my favorite spot, and I just go there twice a month or order from them twice a month, that's 2 times a month in 6 months. That seems 12 times they've had an opportunity to see your ad.
Okay, that makes
If they
sense.
throw the menu away. If they keep the menu, they're going to see it more times.
So this is a menu that they use in the restaurant plus take-home, or is just as take-home menus?
They have
Order-out
they have
menus?
in-house menus. I don't do those, but these
Okay.
are all for their takeout.
For takeout. Okay.
And I don't know which one's better. In the sit down, you're going to see it more because more people are coming into the
Right.
place and take out, but they're not taking the ad with them. The thing I
That's
like
true.
about the takeout menus is what do we try and do with our ads? We want to get it in their house and in their hands.
Right.
So no one's going to come to the door with a delivery and say, "Give me that food, but take that menu off there first." You know, I mean,
Right.
you know,
Right. It goes in the menu drawer, right?
menu on
For the next
refrigerator.
time,
I'm real straight up about that. I am not a menu keeper. I am not. Some people are. A lot of people tell me they are. But I used to work at places and we'd have a menu drawer. You know, hey, what are we going to order today? You know,
dig through the pile of stuff that delivers to your location.
Right. Another cool thing I found out was I didn't. You know, it's like, I knew this worked. I couldn't give you the exact reason why it works, but somebody sent me a thing one day that Nielsen research, which, you know, Nielsen studies everything.
Yeah.
They said the average person looks at a menu for 109 seconds. So if
Trying to decide what they want.
Well, I've even gone to my favorite restaurant and I still look at the menu because I think I'm going to try something different.
Yeah.
And then I do, and I'm mad because I did, or I'm waiting for my food to come, you know.
Sure.
But so if someone's looking at a menu for 109 seconds, I want my ad to be there.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
let's put it where they're looking, right?
Yeah. So do you ever offer the in
Yes.
restaurant ones as well?
So
Because
what-
they are sitting there. It's a captive audience.
Obviously, when I started this and COVID and all that, no need for a dining menu.
Right.
But I was still doing the menus because they did like the free menus. But then I had places approach me and say, "Would you do a dining menu for us?" I said, "Absolutely," you know. And so I do those for some restaurants. You know, right now I have some that do the dine-in and the takeout, and some just do
Nice.
the takeout, and some that just do the dine-in. So
So the dine-in ones, do they look like this, or are they a solid? Do they look different? Did you bring one?
I should have brought one.
Darn.
It's about this size, and you've probably seen them, and they're clear, and they've got the pages in them. And
okay.
so you would think I'd have been prepared. And brought one.
I'm just
invite
asking
me back.
questions that you didn't know that I was going to ask you. That's all. So we had the menus and the wipes. Is there anything else that you do that you offer in your business?
You know, I have. I was approached by a company called Local Ad Face. They do the screens in the restaurants, and I do represent them just for the fact that I've had my customers say, "Hey, we're opening up a branch in Miami." Well, I don't have menus there, so I do have the ability to help people if they want their ad on screens in over. I think we have over 400 locations in Florida, so pretty much anywhere you want to be in Florida, I can help. And now they're even in Wisconsin and a couple other states, but it's more of a thing I do to help my clients. It's not a thing I focus on. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not your main gig.
No.
This is so I don't know that you're prepared to talk about this, but you mentioned something this morning. We were at a meeting together.
Right.
That you're doing another new thing. Is that something you want to discuss at all?
I'd love to because it's my.
I don't want to bring it up if it was not there yet.
No, I'm excited about it. So because this grew so fast, and I tried hiring people to work for me.
Right.
And I think we've all experienced that, and some have had good results. I didn't. And I wanted to grow the business because I had people saying, "Hey, do you have a menu here?" So I decided to license what I do.
Nice.
I've got a proven track record. I've got a manual written out. I've got step-by-step instructions how to take my business and put it in your area, and you be a entrepreneur in that area.
Right.
But I did it I fell in all the ruts and the holes, and I made the mistakes, and so I've got it laid out now step by step. In fact, I'm going to come in here working with John to create videos, training videos. So it's just not in the written word, because we were talking about that. I learned through watching and listening better than reading. So there's going to be step by step how to approach a restaurant, how to sell an ad, create ad creation, everything. So you just need to take your area and run with it.
Have a desire to own your own business, and then just buy into the franchise, and
suit up and show up.
Everything. Suit up and show up. Teach them everything they need to know to be successful in their I'm assuming a territory.
Yes,
we purchase a territory.
I just did my first one, and a guy took Largo and Seminole, and he's starting to do that down there. He just got his first restaurant. So we've got a restaurant down there that I can put clients on his menus there, and he can put his clients if they want to be in our area here. So it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So strength in numbers.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And there's the whole point of a franchise, of course, is that it's a proven system. So you don't have to figure it out for yourself, right? You don't have to make the mistakes. You don't have to wonder how to do it.
It took me a couple years to just get this down into a well-oiled machine, and so I mean, it's just out there. It's such a win-win-win because the restaurant loves it because
free menus.
They work on very small margins, so they love it. The advertiser loves it because they don't have to pay for postage to get their message into somebody's house. They're delivering it with the food. And I love it because I make a profit on it. Right. So it's all good.
Everybody wins.
Right.
That's awesome. And it's such affordable advertising.
Absolutely.
Right? For any size business, you can absolutely afford to be somewhere, be seen.
Absolutely. And the other thing I do, I sell like I like to, I don't want to have my ad next to my competitor's ad. So I'm seat specific, so to speak. I offer exclusivity. So,
nice.
One type of each business, yes.
Per restaurant location.
Per restaurant location, yeah.
Because each one has their own menus, of course.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you how good this has gotten. So, again, I'm going to mention my May Solar. I was at the beach.
Plug for May Solar.
Plug for May Solar. I was at the beach. I had a friend in from out of town. We were down in Clearwater Beach. And I said, it's Monday. I should be working. And I sent out a list of my next 10 locations I'm doing. And I sent it to Billy May. I said, Billy, here's my next 10 locations. Are you interested? And he said, yes. I said, which ones? He said, all of them, as long as I can have the back cover. So, I mean,
it's the premium spot.
how in most cases it really is. But the nice thing is, there's not a bad spot because you have to
open it.
You have to open it to read the menu.
Yeah.
And there's ads on each side of the menu.
Yeah.
So but
that's true.
But the good part is if it's laying down,
you're
going
to see that.
That's where they see it.
But if it's laying the other way, you're going to see ads too, right?
Well, it depends.
The menu.
The front's
the menu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we try and be very fair to the restaurant, because they're our partners. It's not, I'm not doing them a favor. They're not doing. We're working together.
Right.
So, in fact, I've approached restaurants and I go, here's what I do, and they go, let me think about it. I don't even go. I like restaurants that go, yeah. I want restaurants that go, you're doing this for free? Yeah.
Yeah, sign me up for that.
Right. So it's all about those relationships.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Affordable advertising, good relationships. Gosh, it was brilliant. That was really a brilliant thing that you created. I think.
Yeah, it's just. It finally sunk into my head, what do I love to do? I was always, when I owned the gyms, obviously, I was not the guy to, you want to look like me.
What are you saying, right?
But I was great at marketing. I was, because you know what? I had a passion for it. So I used to weigh 350 pounds, walked with a cane. I was a mess, and I joined a gym and learned that business. And so I had a passion for the gym business. But, when I had my own gyms and 50 employees and an $86,000 a month overhead. And
that gives me heartburn.
But I was always, in the gym business, I was always great at getting people to the door, and I had a passion to help them because I had changed. And so that was all great. But the side of me that was always good was the marketing side. I was the marketing director for a chain in Las Vegas. And that's why I always had a passion about figuring out how to.
That's just your bag, right?
It really
your jam,
is.
Man.
It really is. So I figured out how to do that without having another business to promote. I just did my own business for it.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Super clever. It's all about finding something that you love to do that you can invest your time in. I really believe that. And love what you do.
There's a difference of going, I got to go to work, then, I get to go. Ooh, I'm excited about this, So it really is. Not always, anything takes time to.
Right.
But you know what? It's, again, I found this because I found out enough things I didn't want to do.
Insurance sucked that bad.
Right. And you know, I think it's awesome that there's so many people that do insurance and they're passionate about it
And they love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't have I didn't feel I was doing people the service. I was afraid there's so many options out there.
Yeah.
So anyway.
We have a lady in our Thursday WPBA group locally that she sells insurance. When she talks about it, she is like so excited.
Right.
Right. She educates us every week we get like a little tidbit from different people, and she's like, oh, and you better check this. And she's just so excited about what she does. I'm thinking, man, to love what you do that much is a really incredible thing. She does. I'm like, you go on with yourself, girl. You go, girl.
Well, perfect example. Look at you. This is you. You know what I mean?
I do really love this.
Yeah, I know.
It's easy. It's fun. It's not. This is just a tool that I use to help other entrepreneurs and to get my name out into the world. Right. But I am a graduate from the National Speakers Association Speakers Academy. And so it's super natural for me to be behind the mic or in front of a crowd, and I feed off of it. I really love it.
Right.
This has been the most fun because I get to bring other entrepreneurs in, and we're like-minded, right? We're all working for ourselves, doing the grind, and
it's that giver's gain thing,
It really is.
I've seen you through the networking, and you're always doing things to help, to try and point people in the right direction.
Yeah. That truly is my heart. And that's what this, being the savvy entrepreneur and doing Coffee with Clara Rose, it's about helping people step into that. Learn to be a savvy entrepreneur. Right? Do the things that you need to do to get in front of the people that you can then serve.
Right.
So I love that we're just spent our time.
Okay.
So if you had one really quick point, you have 30 seconds.
Okay, and I just want to say, following up on that, I love Billy May. I've showed him, but I also love the little person, the small business. Because he's going to survive without me. Some of these people, they would too, but it gives me the opportunity to help them.
To make a difference.
Yes.
I love that about you. All right, my friends, we are out of time, but thank you for showing up every week to support me and to learn how you too can be a savvy entrepreneur. I will see you next week.